panel of lawmakers who make up the state controlling board approved $200 million for colleges and universities and $100 million for K through 12 schools from the federal CARES Act money that DeWine had asked for those institutions. Districts are starting to put out their plans for the academic year that begins in a few weeks. Most are including a hybrid of traditional in-person attendance and online learning for K through 12 schools. Statehouse correspondent Jo Ingles reports they're finding it's not easy to plan for an uncertain future while still meeting the basic guidelines laid out by the state.
Middle school teacher Sharice Thompson is nervous about going back to her classroom next month.
I'm scared. I know that there's still a fatality rate, and I think that we shouldn't be going back to school when there's so many unknowns. I'm scared for my kids. I'm scared for my colleagues, especially since we still don't know that much about what COVID does to us, even if we do survive. We do know so far that it causes strokes and people younger than me, and limited lung capacity and things to that nature. And I think that there's just so many unknowns that it's just not safe. I just don't think it's safe.
She's not alone.
You know, I'm hearing more and more members who are just very apprehensive about their health and their safety, that of their students, that of their family members that they may have to take care of, who are, in compromised positions. And so there just is a lot of concern.
Earlier this month, Governor Mike DeWine laid out guidelines schools must follow when reopening this fall. It told districts to focus on keeping surfaces and students clean, on social distancing, and wearing face coverings when 6-foot distances cannot be achieved. But DeWine left it up to school districts to create their own policies to fit these principles.
So balancing local control, state interest in protecting our kids and making sure our kids get educated.
Columbus City Schools recently outlined its plans for reopening schools, featuring a hybrid of in-person and online learning, knowing the latter might be required at any point, since most urban areas of the state have been hit hard by the pandemic. And rural school districts throughout Ohio, areas that haven't seen as many cases so far, are also coming out with details on how they'll be starting schools and their contingency plans should the pandemic worsen in their areas. The Olentangy Local School District in Delaware County is the state's 6th largest. It's also one of the fastest growing school districts in the country. Since 1990, the district has grown to a total of 25 schools, 15 elementary schools, 5 middle schools, 4 high schools, and a specialized online learning academy. When school starts in a few weeks, the district will use county health data to determine whether to start 5 days a week or on a hybrid schedule where half of the students attend one day, the other half attend the next. And if they're not attending in person, they'll be working online. Teachers are being told to build the online component into their plans right now so they can switch back and forth as needed. Superintendent Mark Rafe says because of its size, the district will focus on hot spots within the county to make these determinations.
We may have to shut down a building because of a high prevalence of COVID, but maybe keep the district open. So a building might go hybrid or virtual, but keep a building or keep the rest of the district open.
Students, as well as staff, will be required to wear face coverings and practice social distancing while on campus. Rafe says surveys of parents show 30% of students will likely attend online. The initial plan called for students to decide to go online for a whole year, but he says the district is looking at tweaking its plan to allow them to choose to attend online this fall and then allow parents to reassess the situation later.
That was somebody already put that out to me, is that, well, if you make me make the choice for a year-long online, I will just go to a charter school for the first semester and then see about coming back for second semester. And again, we don't want to lose anybody to an online school.
I would say for them, I I haven't seen any numbers or ask, but it'd be logical to think that they could have an opportunity to increase their role and their student enrollment.
But former state senator and head of School Choice Ohio, Kevin Bacon, thinks the schools he advocates for might, in general, find it harder to operate now, especially with the added costs of PPE and social distancing.
I don't know any that I've seen so far that are going to be necessarily better off. If you compare public to private, I would say that we're in this boat together. I don't know whether I would say that we're better off or worse off. I do know that, in a private school, if they don't have substantial revenue, then they shut down. And we're clearly going to see that. We don't have a revenue stream from the government. So in that respect, they're worse off for those that this is the last nail in the coffin, so to speak.
Bacon says it's still too early to see exactly how attendance at community schools will shake out this fall. And some teachers worry the best laid plans might not be enough to keep students and staff safe. Jo Ingles, Statehouse News Bureau.